This was the saddest death in the whole of Squid Game Season 3. I almost cried. The new Squid Game Season 3 has just came out, and honestly, I'm in disbelief and I'm in shock. By the way, this video does contain spoilers, just to let you know. Anyways, players died like they were absolutely nothing, like flies. Like horses, Jihun once said in the end of the season. In today's video, I'm gonna be going over 5 of the saddest deaths in Squid Game Season 3 that shattered most people's eyes. Like and subscribe right now if you binge watched the entire season, because I did. There's too much to unfold in this season, and I'm gonna make sure I cover everything in future videos. But let's stick to the saddest deaths for now. I'll be stating these deaths not by which one is sadder, but in the order of the season, because if I rank it based off sadness, the other dead players will be exposed when I explain why it's sad. Anyways, the first death that occurred, and guys, this one broke my heart. I was really rooting for her. Can anyone guess her? Hywenju. Me still speaking about her makes her death hurt more, but we need to talk about it. How did it all start? It was about time for the first game to start, the 4th game, which was the maze tag key and knife game. Hywenju was on the blue team. The red team are the predators and the blue team is the prey. I was so confident in Hywenju in this game. I know what she's capable of. She is a very strong woman. Hywenju is not just protecting herself in the game, but taking care both of Kim Jun-hee and Gumja. She's such a caring person. But then something terrible happens that will determine the fate of Kim Jun-hee. As all of them are going up the stairs, Kim Jun-hee trips and falls down, and then something worse happens. A red player, a player with a knife, appears, so Hywenju instantly gets into battle and holds the red player off. This is the red player we got to see in the trailer. We all knew she was going up against this player at some point in the maze tag game. The red player tells Hywenju to move to the side so we can either kill Gumja or Kim Jun-hee, and he says it in a very rude way, but then she decides to fight him instead, putting her hands up. At this moment, we knew Hywenju was going to put up a battle, and we were all ready for it. Hywenju ends up killing the red player. He doesn't really put up a fight, but Hywenju still gets cut a little bit, but no major damage. Hywenju's team then makes it into a room, since Kim Jun-hee is going to give birth, and they need shelter. And Gumja tells her to leave them since they're being a burden to Hywenju, but Hywenju declines and sticks with them. That's what I'm talking about, guys. I'm telling you guys, she has a beautiful heart, and to see her go was so devastating. But then, we see the man in the trailer, Player 202. He comes in, and he's ready to kill all of them. Player 202 ends up stabbing Hywenju on the leg brutally. Things are getting rough, but Hywenju ends up killing him as well when Player 202 is to her back. This woman is unstoppable. At this point, I was so confident she was going to make it to the finalist at least. But with all these red players coming your way, I mean, she already fought 2 red players pretty quickly. I thought maybe something bad would happen to her soon. And the next scene is absolutely shocking. The scene you guys have been waiting for. Hywenju finds the exit to the game with all the keys she has, since in order to leave, you need 3 keys. 1 triangle, 1 square, and 1 circle. But she decides not to enter since she remembers she has Gumja and Kim Jun-hee waiting in the other room, as well as her baby. She needs to come back and rescue them, so she decides to go back. But that was the worst decision she ever made in her life, because when she comes back to tell them to hurry up, she gets stabbed right behind, and my heart sunk to the floor when this happened. Her dying like this, come on. The director went brutal with this. How could he kill Hywenju in this way? She was the best player to exist in the games. The player who killed her was Lee Myung-gi, but he had no idea it was her, according to him. I'm almost crying talking about this. Let's move on to the next sad death, because this one is the saddest one in my opinion. The next saddest death is not necessarily sad because of the player dying himself, but because of what went around it. and the person who did it to him. Park Young-sik. In the maze tag game, red players needed to kill one blue player to continue to the next round. We all knew Park Young-sik is a good guy, and he doesn't have the heart to kill anyone, even in tough situations like this. The scene starts off with Park Young-sik entering a room where Gumja, his mother, and Kim Jun-hee are getting ready to escape, and he's approaching Kim Jun-hee, but his mother gets in the way and tells him no. But he tells her, "Mom, I'm going to die. I didn't kill anyone. I couldn't kill anyone." And the mother says something absolutely shocking, telling him to stab her instead, saying she lived enough, so it's okay in this situation. But Park Young-sik is obviously not going to kill his own mother. That would be absolutely absurd. I was sure he wasn't going to do that, and he didn't. So Gumja and Park Young-sik are talking it out, and Kim Jun-hee is trying to be slick to escape on her behalf. But Park Young-sik notices, so he shoves his mother to the side and goes up to Kim Jun-hee and holds a knife to her, getting ready to stab her in that exact moment. But when this happens, something happened that no one expected. From behind, his mother stabs him on the back. He turns around and says, "Mom." This scene absolutely broke me. How could she do this to her own son? I know she's trying to protect the mother and the baby, and that's a pretty solid reason, but she just met them, and this is her own son, her own blood, her own baby. She could have at least stabbed him in the leg. Gumja is bawling her eyes out while she's holding onto him. Even in this moment, he's telling her, "I'm sorry," but he looks in front of him and sees the red guards ready to shoot him since the game is over. She screams multiple times, "No," as they're coming in, saying, "No, I did this to him, spare him for me," but it's impossible. The games are over, so the red guards ends up shooting him. This season is absolutely shocking and devastating. I don't even know if I can continue this video talking about more of these sad deaths in depth. It really hits me in the heart. And just like that, player 007 was eliminated in the maze tag game. Two of the main characters already gone just like that. It was too quick, don't you guys think? Let me know down below which scene made you more upset, Park Young-sik's death or Hywenju's. The next death is absolutely shocking because this player took her life away. Gumja. It's no surprise that Gumja did this, and I will explain why she did this real soon. But first, let's talk about her last few words the night before it happened, so we can understand why she did this action, and we can understand exactly what her thinking process was. In episode 3, It's Not Your Fault, she decides to come and sit next to Jihun as he's still locked up. She ends up telling Jihun in the end, "I killed my own son," and Jihun looks at her in shock, thinking, "What's going on? How could you do this to your own son?" Then she tells Jihun, "Can you look out for Kim Jun-hee and her baby?" At this point, we can understand just how empathetic she is over Kim Jun-hee and her baby, and would do anything to keep them alive, even going as far as to kill her own son. And then she tells Jihun the line we saw in the trailer, "I still believe you came here to save us all," and tells him not to worry about her and only Kim Jun-hee and the baby. She begs and she begs for him to agree with her, and then in the next scene, we see something absolutely shocking. My mother started crying watching this scene, and I don't blame her one bit for it. We can see the red guards walking into the dormitory holding the coffin, and we wonder, who are they bringing inside in this time? No one died, so they must be bringing someone back from inside. This was my thinking process, since they did this with Jihun as well. We can see the guard approaching a player that had taken her own life away, but I won't show it on YouTube for certain purposes. But we can see Jihun looking in shock and Kim Jun-hee crying as the baby is crying as well. This was such a devastating scene to see. Jihun is about to cry, but he can't because with everything going on, he needs to stay strong. But I can see it in his eyes how much pain he is in. He just can't let it out, so he must stay strong for the remaining games. It's only going to get more intense and more cruel, especially in this season. Man, the director really made this season dark, clearly. I still can't believe it. The fourth player that died on this list is someone I really thought wouldn't, and I thought she would make it to the end since she was pregnant. But now that she gave birth, she lost her shield, Kim Jun-hee. It all started in episode 3 when the players walked in to see the 4th game, the rope bridge game. This looked way crazier to see in the actual season than the trailer. Even the VIPs were shocked when this got presented to them. Jihun is looking after Kim Jun-hee's baby since she's unable to walk and needs to prioritize the baby. He checks her leg and it's not looking good at all. It's very swollen. It's clear she can barely walk on her own. Lee Myung-gi looks at them but doesn't really pay attention. This really annoyed me. I understand her and him are going through problems, but he's not even checking on his own baby. I mean, he's the father, and in these crucial moments, it's just beyond me. Jihun says we can leave the baby here while we cross, but the guards tell him that all players must pass to the other side in a set limit of time or all the players will be eliminated. And at this point, it was confirmed that the baby was now a player, which was absolutely shocking. All the players have 17 minutes left. Kim tells Jihun to take her baby with him, so Jihun ends up going second on the rope bridge game while holding the baby and makes it successfully to the other side. Thank God the baby made it, at least. We get to a point where it's just Lee Myung-gi and Jun-hee on the starting side of the rope bridge game. And you're not gonna believe it, but Lee Myung-gi left her. I mean, I don't blame him in a way because she's going to die either way and he has a baby to save. But I mean, does he even really care about the baby? And I feel like he should have died with her. That would have been the right motive. Lee Myung-gi makes it to the other side and there's only Kim Jun-hee left. And Jihun tells her, I'm coming for you. Even though there's only 1 minute left on the timer. Jihun really is a hero. But she tells him, no, don't come back for me. She tells him, if you don't make it, my baby won't survive either. She then tells him, you promise to protect my baby no matter what. This line broke me when she looked at him and said this. And then she falls to her death. And this is Jihun's reaction. In absolute shock. What a tragedy. I knew Kim Jun-hee would be safe as long as she was pregnant, but without her baby, she was just like any other player again. Alright, so now we are approaching the final saddest death in this list. Something I didn't want to speak about, but we have to since we are approaching the end. The death of the almighty, the OG, the hero, Seong Ji-hun. It all started when there was 9 finalists left. I predicted in my previous video that there would be 5 finalists left, not 9, and 5 of the finalists were completely random. How? How in the world did Gramps make it to the top 5? I did not expect him to make it this far. We all thought he would die in the rope bridge game, especially with the previous leaks. Anyways, it ended up being 3 finalists left. Jihun, the baby, and Lee Myung-gi, the father of the baby. Jihun offered to eliminate himself in the end, but Lee Myung-gi was too foolish to believe him, so he demanded to give him the baby and to stay on the middle pillar. Lee Myung-gi really thought Jihun was bluffing, but Jihun wasn't. He's just a good guy overall and wanted the father and the baby to make it out alive. Before the timer of the final game reached 0, Jihun passed over the baby, but then Jihun went and grabbed his knife that In-ho gave him and jumped over the crossing bridge to then fight to the death between him and Lee Myung-gi. Jihun always looked calm and collected, but Lee Myung-gi on the other hand was stressing out completely. Jihun is winning the battle, so Lee Myung-gi goes to the baby and uses him as bait for Jihun to surrender, and then grabs the knife and approaches Jihun and ends up stabbing him a few times. And then the most unexpected thing occurs. They both end up falling from the pillar, but Jihun is holding on still, while Lee Myung-gi is holding on to the finalist suit. But that won't hold on for any longer, so he ends up falling to his death. You might think Jihun is safe at this point, but he's not. It's between him and the baby now. We all know what's coming now, and it's truly heartbreaking. Jihun kisses the baby and then puts it down. He stands up and looks at the VIPs and says, "We are not horses. We are humans." The last 5 words Jihun said before taking his own life away and falling What an intense moment in TV show history. The whole world was in shock when this happened. The way Jihun fell was perfect. Devastating but perfect. The director couldn't have done a better job with the way he fell backwards. Jihun finally sacrificed his own life. And you want to know what's crazy, guys? I speculated this exactly in my previous videos, that Jihun would sacrifice his own life for Kim's baby. And I was right. I can't believe it. And if you remember that, let me know down below in the comments. The final season 3 hit finally. And it hit all of us than anyone would have ever anticipated. I did not expect the main characters to die so quickly like flies. A lot of people in the audience were devastated by this. I don't know about you guys, but as soon as player 120, Hywenju, passed away, that was it for me. I started losing hope for the remaining players. But the director did state, guys, that this season would be the most dark season in the whole Squid Game franchise. But it was still more than I expected. Like, come on Hywang, you didn't have to make it this depressing. But guys, I want to know exactly what other videos I should do for you guys in season 3. I really want to make the most interesting analysis for future videos. It's the final season, so definitely help me out with this. And I will definitely take your ideas into account. And a huge shout out to Eater and Sky King for the donations in yesterday's stream. You guys really made the whole experience better. There was a whole donation war going on. It was crazy and I was about to pass out, so I'm glad this happened. But that's about it for my first video of Squid Game Season 3. I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, take care everyone, have a great rest of your day, and goodbye. See ya.